Yep, Hickok 45 here, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the beautiful hills of Middle Tennessee. Well, barren and beautiful right now. The home of Alvin York, Davy Crockett, Morgan Freeman. Who else? Dolly Parton. Buford Pusser, somebody mentioned. Yeah, down in McNairy County. A lot of people have lived in Tennessee, part of their lives. Elvis Presley, right? Been through his house. A lot of folks were not born here, but they moved here, like Johnny Cash. They adopted the state of Tennessee, and we're glad they did. Okay, so welcome to another Sunday shoot around, Super Bowl Sunday shoot around, right? Some of you, as like I said, it may not be Super Bowl for some of you, Super Bowl Sunday, because you don't watch football, right? Some people don't like it, and a lot of people have quit watching it lately. So professional sports, and I watch very little myself, but yeah, it is Super Bowl Sunday. It's not even Sunday for some people, maybe. Well, I guess it is Sunday, right? But a lot of people don't observe a religious holiday either. So it kind of depends on where you're coming from, whether it's Super Bowl Sunday, okay, or it's a church day, or it's a religious day. You know, we all live, get this newsflash, differently. We all think differently, right? All the more reason that I lean libertarian. You know, live however you want. It makes no difference to me as long as you're not messing with me, right? And I'm not going to mess with you. So just makes a lot of common sense. I don't know why people have to be such busybodies in this world, wanting everybody to be like them. Makes no sense. What if everybody was like me? Woo! How weird would that be? Everybody else that helps us, like Talon Grips, I probably should put some on this. Maybe they make a butt. They don't make a butt pad. I gotta get on to them about that. But we appreciate Talon Grips, gungrips.com. Check them out. Got them on a lot of my firearms, and then of course Ballistol. I've already Ballistoled this thing up. I just picked this shotgun up, and the wood already looks better. Of course, protecting the metal is key. When I get one, I oil it up right away. And even the wood, especially the wood, and it looks better already, even though it's an old gun. So that's cool thing about Ballistol. It works on wood and rubber. Well, yeah, rubber. I'm generally not soft rubber. I don't put it on something like this, but on some plastics, and I shouldn't even gotten into that. Like I don't put it on my grips, on my Glocks and things like that. I try to keep it. It doesn't hurt. It probably helps it as far as preserve, but I don't want them slippery. What I'm getting at. But on something like a piece of a trim or something that actually is good for it, you know, it's like it is wood. So anyway, lots of cool stuff that we use. So this gun, I just picked it up and have not shot it. Okay, so I'm going to let you join me in the first shots again. I've done this before. One of these days, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see me, witness me crying on video, you know, for who knows how long. I might just cry for about, 10 minutes if I have bought a gun and it won't shoot. But I don't have much money in this one, not very expensive, because it's kind of beat up. You can see, I say beat up. It's just not perfect. It's an old gun, made in, guess when? 1967. I looked it up. That's before some of you were born, maybe. You reckon? So let's just take the first shots with it. All right. Okay. All right. Shoots. It shoots. Let's hit this other 2-liter here. All right, let's put one on the target. Blow the center out. That's how you. That way, if I follow up with a slug and I'm shooting at the bullseye, I can just claim I hit it, whether I hit it or not. There's no way you can tell, right? It's like in competition. You really want to avoid a double, as they call it. If you and that happens occasionally, it's rare. But in a shooting match, you're shooting paper targets, USPSA, whatever you're running around shooting, and they go up and score your target after you've gone through the stage, and they'll say you were I was supposed to put 4 shots on that target, and there's only 3. Well, of course, if you're a wise guy, like me, you always claim, well, one of those is a double. No, I never did that. But it could be a double. You could actually put 2 in the same hole, and that's really rare. You got a little overlay you can put over it and usually find that it was or was not, but extremely rare. Because the thing is, if you were to do that, you were to shoot so well, you put 2 of those bullets through the same exact hole, and it didn't change the hole configuration at all, not oval, or anything, which is really unlikely. Then guess what? It's going to count as a miss. If there's no evidence that it went through that same hole. And a miss is a killer. You missed the whole target. You didn't just get a D or a lower point on that. You missed the entire target. So whatever that counts, -10. I mean, basically, if you're planning on trying to win the match or something, or place really, really high, you're not going to do that now, okay, if you have a miss, because people who have a miss don't place high generally, okay, speaking. And you didn't deserve it, but you got one, right? So not good. So new targets. And again, okay, and before I get too far, again, I posted this all over the place, and everybody else has too. Make sure you're aware of what's coming down the pike, as I always warn you to keep up with things. This HR 127 bill is, wow. I posted out on Instagram. I think it was so much activity there. I've never seen a posting, and that is what amazes me is everybody should know about that by now, or by the time I even posted that. It's just out there. If you're not keeping up with who's trying to take your guns and who's trying to restrict your freedom, wow, what are your priorities? Come on, you should be keeping up with this. Everybody lives on the internet now. How do you miss this stuff? How do you miss this stuff? I've told you all many times, don't rely on me to tell you every day or every week. There are too many people doing, not too many, but there are a lot of people doing that. I said, there are too many people, what I was going to say, for me to do that, to quit doing shooting videos and just talk about politics or the Second Amendment. But keep up with that, all these crazy draconian laws. And I was amazed on that Instagram posting, as I looked through some of the comments, there are a lot of people commenting there that said, well, I don't understand what's wrong with this. Wow. Because you usually assume on a channel or even Instagram followers or whoever, that most of those people are kind of gun people, but apparently not, or there's just a lot of I don't know what you call them, progressive gun people or something, I don't know, that really are for like universal background checks and those sorts of things, which is very political. For people who are kind of new to firearms, the reason that folks are against universal background checks, a lot of people are not against checking background. I checked this morning on that gun I was just telling you about. I picked up, every time I get a gun, it's a check, a background check. So in fact, I went to pick it up yesterday, and for some reason it was stayed in pin. Mine always go through just immediately because my name is not, it's not John Smith or something. And I mean, they really do. They go through almost immediately. And this one was pending for finalized. Well, I was come back tomorrow because I don't really need it. Yesterday, I didn't need it, and I was just wanted to go ahead and get it come in. And so I went back this morning and got it. And that had never happened before. I didn't realize you have to sign. I had to sign this morning and date that I hadn't committed a crime since I was in there yesterday, because I'd done all the paperwork yesterday, and the background check was just pending. So I didn't realize you had to do that. So I had left the store. So I promised that no, I haven't murdered anybody, while I was gone. So anyway, I got the gun, but anyway, back to my point. So you can't really have universal background checks without a gun registry, without registration, okay? And say, well, what's the big deal about that? Well, that's, again, part of the Second Amendment. You don't really have a free country with a Second Amendment if every gun is registered, right? Because what's the next step? Through history, we have learned our lesson. That's how you begin the confiscation. You know who has them, whether it's Nazi Germany, wherever it is. Once you get everybody on registry and what everybody has, then no problem to pick them up, depending on who's in power, right? What decade it is, what century it is, maybe. Once you get that information. So that's the problem there, because I think some people are not used to firearms, or not familiar with them, or kind of new to firearms and don't think about it much. They don't understand why people are against some of these things. And again, of course, it's a slippery slope. And there are 20,000 or more, gun laws, and most of them don't even are not needed and are useless, right? I can get a gun anytime I want. Anybody can get a gun, get a knife, get a gun, get a club. There's so much nonsense in the gun laws and in the drive for gun laws, as with like AR-15s, for example. Well, there are more people killed, like every year, with feet and fists than with rifles, period. All right? And then AR-15s, within that segment of rifles, it's even less, probably half or something. And so the FBI doesn't break it down between what kind of rifle. So, I mean, it's just, there's so many crazy gun laws that make no sense, and so many coming at us all the time that make no sense. Just like this shotgun, for example. If I cut, it's an 18 and an eighth or something. If I cut even a half inch off that barrel, I'm a felon, okay? Wow, makes that really dangerous, doesn't it, if it's a half inch shorter. There are just so many bizarre gun laws that make no sense, that if you feel like sometimes people just seem to have no respect for the law, no respect for the gun laws, well, it's because we don't. Yeah, there are just hardly any of them that shooters can have respect for. So I've got a heater over here today, if you hadn't noticed. It's that way, and you probably didn't because it's not in the camera. So it doesn't do a lot of good, but at least it's there. Put my hand on it, it feels good. So anyway, HR 127, look it up and study it up. We've all been posting about it, and it's all you can do. You should be keeping up with this stuff, really, and not relying on others. Really, just keep up with it and know what's going on, and make sure you're letting your representatives know what you think about it. And to think about it too, like I said, on first glance, something might not look like a big deal, but if you think about it, study it a little bit, you realize, that might not be so good. Why do we need that? And it's if a lot of people think that something like universal background check, it's going to stop the crime, or if we can just ban these AR-15s, there won't be these murders and all this. No, it accounts for, what is it, like under 300 murders a year by rifle, so all the efforts into AR-15s, for example, AKs or whatever, it's such a feel-good thing, because those things look so evil, right? They look so evil. Why does anybody need 30 rounds to deer hunt? The old stupid line, Second Amendment's not about hunting. So, anyway, just study it. Think about it, you young people. It's really not that we older guys and gals are reactionary and we're Neanderthal knuckle draggers. It's not that at all. It's just we have some common sense. Yeah, we've got some common sense. Most of us, right? Okay, what else? Let me shoot this thing again. I think I should try slugs in it. Let's see if it'll work. Well, as I'm loading it, let me tell you why I bought this. I needed another gun. Didn't have enough guns. I was going in to see John. We had a Google call and went into his house in Nashville. And I decided, it is funny how things happen. The stars are always looking over me. In fact, first of all, he was going to come out here. And then I called him and said, I'll just come on in. It's too cold to do videos or anything. I'll just drive in. And so I thought, okay. And I thought, I think I'll go in kind of the longer way. Actually, not that much longer. I'll go through Greenbrier and stop at Guns and Leather, one of my favorite gun shops around this area. And I hadn't been in there in a while, just stopped by. And so I did. Of course, like everybody else, they're getting kind of sparse on firearms, right? And I walked around that long guns right along the wall. Not a lot of them. You've been in a gun shop lately. I saw this shotgun leaning up there. I said, Neat old corn cob slide, 4 in there and everything. And picked it up. It said high standard on it. I said, I'll be darned. And the reason I said I'll be darned is this was my first shotgun that I bought. I bought this in the model 1200 Winchester, I think the same year. And this is the one I think I got first. And I'll admit, I think it was after I saw The Getaway with Steve McQueen, because I had not, I was like 73. I was not familiar with short barreled shotguns and double-aught buck, and I remember seeing that movie and thinking, wow, that is cool. I need one of those, you know. And I think I found out what it was, and I found one, and they were pretty available at that time, the high standard shotguns like this, and K1200, and I bought one, and I let it go. I think after I got the Winchester, I decided I didn't need both of them, and I sold that probably to a friend or a relative. Friend, I guess. I'd have kept up with it if it had been a relative and been trying to buy it back. All right, I got a slug. Why don't we put it on that big container right there, if I can hit it. All right. And the propane tank. Woo! And the gong. All right. What that means, it's a keeper. It's a keeper. Click. All right, it's gong worthy, so I guess I can keep it. Get that smoke. Is that sweet? That's called gun smoke for y'all who don't know. Yeah, this is a Riot gun, so we're safe if we have a Riot. It's Riot 18.7 RS. 18 is the barrel length, 7 is the capacity, I'm pretty sure. It's a model K1200. It was made in 1967. And I looked it up. Like a couple days ago, I got it. RS, I'm not sure what the RS stands for. Riot 18-7 RS. If you know, let me know. It's something obvious, I guess. I couldn't find it. Riot shotgun. I don't know. It seemed redundant if so, but that may be all that is. Riot shotgun. I don't know, but it says Riot 18.7 RS, and I looked up. It's got a little letter code right there. This one has AK on it, and that I looked that up, and it means it was made in 1967. My heater's gonna blow up here in the wind. I think it's not designed to be out in the wind, maybe. Oh well, it's all right. Come on now, let's not go crazy. Let's don't go crazy. Kind of loud. Oh well, I don't really need it. It's cold, but it's not horrible. Y'all are worth it, right? So, yeah. Did I tell you that Silencer Central said they got the Glock 17 or 18 back? So we'll be doing some follow-up with that. Nothing on John that I know about. Several people, and with the Glock 18, it was funny. They remarked about how, I guess it almost seemed unnatural when it broke, how I reacted to that, and it's kind of funny. If you think about it, you're in a video where it's not going to be edited, like right now. And so if something happens, then you try to roll with it, whatever it is, and until you can't, something happens, you just have to stop the video, whatever you want to do. Just like right now, my heater went out. I'm gonna maybe try to relight it if the wind's not too bad, but I'm not gonna worry about it if it doesn't work. And see, I'm struggling with the knob right here on camera. Yeah. But for one thing, I didn't know what it was. It was just weird. I've never had a Glock break like that. I've never had that happen. Of all the weird things that can happen with a firearm, there's the recoil spring sticking out the front, and the slide I think was kind of back a little bit, and And then I was okay, because lots of times I'll just maybe do something with a gun. Maybe I'm shooting this one, and I don't know, it won't load for some reason, and something just odd is going on here. I don't. Oh, the safety was on, or something was just. I didn't put it back together. A pin is out or something. So I figured out, even on camera sometimes, and just fix it and go on with it. And then you all learn a little bit from my stupidity and ignorance, right? So that's one reason I didn't react or go crazy. Oh my God, I broke his Glock 18. I think that's what some people were expecting me to, just really react. Blow away, target. I've already shot you. That's okay. But so it's not gonna work. So it's just kind of what you do. Don't want to overreact. For one thing, with firearms, you learn, if you're not used to being around firearms or shooting a lot, you got to keep cool. You got to keep cool, keep your calm. I mean, you could fall down while you're shooting a handgun or something if you slip. Shooting matches. I did a lot of USPSA, and you're moving around, running sometimes with a loaded gun. You could trip on something, just whatever, could happen, or I could slip in the gravel. This happened once or twice. I didn't fall down all the way, but something could happen like that, and you got to keep that muzzle pointed in the right direction, finger off the trigger, and not lose it. You just keep calm, So anyway, a little, I guess, experience keeping calm under some stress, perhaps, and all that. So it wasn't because I didn't think it was a big deal. I don't like to break anybody's gun. I mean, it was going to happen at that round count, whatever, but whoever was shooting. But that's just the way it goes. So, I used to work on ladders a lot. I did a lot of painting in college, even high school, and painting contracting, and so I've been on some high ladders and some really weird places and predicaments I shouldn't have been, and getting off a scaffold onto a roof, and just a lot of scary things where if you're afraid of height, they would really gotten to you. And and so I don't know, I'm kind of used to staying calm when I need to. And I just thought of something else here. Somebody has told me for about 2 weeks in a row, unless John has fixed it, because we didn't do any other videos for a couple of weeks. We did some this week, that there was something on this lens. Kind of covered up here a little bit, and I meant to take one of these glasses cleaners and clean it. Okay, John may have gotten it off there. Somebody said there was a smudge on there last week or week before, and I kept meaning to work on that, and I didn't do it. So I just did it now, on air, right? How's that for being informal? So, what else is going on? Anything? Let's see, well, let me shoot some, okay? I want to shoot. Well, it looks like it works. So yeah, I had one of these, and I lived in an apartment in Franklin, Tennessee. Fresh out of college, and I had that baby. And something I have done in recent years, some of the guns that I had when I first got out of college, I let get away. And maybe I'll do a video about some of those. The Python's one of those, Ruger Blackhawk. This. I didn't let the Model 29 8 3/8 get away. I was living in that apartment, and I was just there a couple of years before we built the house, and I kind of see that as a segment. It's a very distinct piece of my life history, living in that townhouse, small townhouse apartment, for a couple of years. I first started teaching, and getting into firearms and shooting and going to the range and trading firearms and all that sort of thing. And this was one of them, this old high standard K1200, and you don't see them around. You don't see them. That's the thing. I have looked on auctions for them, and they're hard to find. They just don't pop up very often. As I understand, they didn't make them. I've got to do some more research. They didn't make them, I don't know, but a shorter period of time because the Winchester and some others overtook them because they had replaceable barrels. You could buy different choke barrels, that kind of thing for these, in the longer versions of them, but for hunting and whatnot. Because back in the day, for you youngsters, and I was never really into hunting or bird hunting, so I wasn't buying a lot of barrels either. But the screw-in chokes, going into a shotgun barrel, that's a real innovation. I don't know when those came about, but it used to be in the 70s, even 80s, and still, I guess, to some extent, but not very often. But back in the day when I was younger, you go to a gun show and there'd be somebody or two somebodies with all these shotgun barrels for sale. Just like now you see someone set up with all these different AR uppers. Well, you'd have all these different barrels because if you had I don't know, Winchester model 1200 or whatever it was, Remingtons and different things, you would just change out the barrel to get a different choke. So it was not uncommon for somebody to have a shotgun and 6 barrels, maybe, I don't know. Yeah. So that's how that worked. And as I understand, these were not as interchangeable and removable as easy. So High Standard didn't go that route, even with their hunting length barrels and things. But this was a popular police shotgun. In fact, this one, they said at Guns N' Loaded, they got from an agency, I think in Clarksville, Tennessee. They bought some guns. So it had been, and I don't know if that's what that has to do with, that little thing for an emblem. It's just smooth, nothing on it, but or not. So anyway, neat old gun, and they're well made. I read that I've got to do some more research. That Mossberg kind of copied this receiver, except theirs are out of alloy. This is steel. So if it looks like a Mossberg to you, except for the safety, it is a lot like a Mossberg, except it's steel. So it's a heavy gun, and that's what I was reading. That my initial research, that it didn't take off as well as like the Model 12, because the Model 12, all the barrel availability, as I was talking about, and everything, but it's a lot like that, just a solid, steel and well-made shotgun, and I like that. So far, I like it. Okay, so anyway, that's I was going to shoot it, wasn't I? Let me load them up here. Try a different shell here. All right. Anything else I was going to lie to you about? I try not to keep you too long. I'm being really bad these days. Talking too much. Oh, man. I was going to do a little vocabulary lesson. Talked a little bit about that last week. Oh, yeah. I just love the media. I just love politicians, and that's where you get all this education. You know what a politician means when he says investment, don't you? You know what it means. It's actually a 3-letter word. T-A-X, right? Tax. For you people in Kentucky who don't know what that spells, make sure those aren't too long. Yeah. I got that 2-liter way down there. Let's get the cowboy. Knock him around. Click. Yeah. Yeah. Another thing I notice in the news media that I always like is when there are certain phrases where it'd be so easy to be a news person these days, wouldn't it? That'd be so simple. All you gotta do is look at Twitter or something, get something somebody's saying about somebody. That's your news, if you want to. And I heard a line this week. I made a note of it. There's growing concern about. Okay, there has been growing concern. Well, just notice when you hear these things said. Be an educated listener, viewer, because for one thing, it enables someone to further their political agenda so easily when they're supposed to just be news reporters, whatever. Is if there's something, say I'm a news, whether I'm from the right or the left or whatever, and there's something I don't like on the left, then I can just start out the story where there's growing concern, or they only have like a subject, verb, sentence out of it. They say, And the next item is growing concern about students who, or about people who do whatever it might be. Well, we mean growing concern. Who is concerned? As you watch the news item, you see mainly the concern is on the part of the news people, for the most part, or they have growing concern about something. Something bothers them, and they have searched high and low and have found somebody else out there, another human somewhere, who is concerned about this, whatever it is, and when it's really not even an issue, just it's the way it works. You got to be a student of media, and you got to remember that media has a slot to fill every day, right? Whatever it is. If you have a morning show, it's a 2-hour morning show. All right, right now they're working on next week and 3 days from now and whatever. What are they going to do? What's the headline? How are they going to fill that time? They got to fill. They got advertisers, expecting them to fill that time with something interesting, captivating, compelling, right? So maybe there is nothing compelling. So what do they have to do? I don't know. They got to talk about something and make it sound compelling, make it appear compelling. Maybe they need to let us know that there's growing concern about something, right? Same with tomorrow night, whatever news show's on, radio programs that deal with just talk or blogs. There you go, blogs too. YouTube, blogs, any kind of internet site that is like kind of a regular, well, like us, it's a regular show of some sort. Well, they've got content to fill. They got, they're in a regular pattern of doing a video every day or having a radio show every day. So, they got to figure out what's going on, what's important, what seems important. And if it's not important, they need to make it appear important, okay, to stay relevant, don't we? Everybody does, yeah. So we got this weird thing that everybody has always known this, really, if you thought about it, about news people, about the nightly news, back when you just got a 30-minute thing of news every night. They had to fill those 30 minutes, with something dramatic as possible, right? And since they just had about 30 minutes, I'm talking back when I was young, you didn't get as much stupid stuff and fluff, maybe. You got the agenda, you didn't realize it as much because they didn't have as much time to pursue that. But they had to fill the 30 minutes, Where I lived in the Eastern time zone, it was like from 6 to 6:30 every night. And then again at 11 to 11:30, I guess. I was usually in bed by then, but when I was young, and so we had 30 minutes, and they had to fill that up. And whether it was a slow news day or not. Well, now you got 24/7, right? So you got a lot of stuff you got to make sound important, don't you? You got to come up with a lot of growing concerns about this and that, and create a lot of drama. And then I think it is important to be aware too that anything you see on, because I go through and look at a lot of different videos and a lot of different topics, and there are people who do regular videos in whatever the field is, or study or area, and so they are constantly trying to come up with a relevant video, something, maybe it's on the same topic, it could be finance or whatever it is, and it's interesting to see what people dig out for a video topic in order to sound relevant or for it to appear important to the viewers, and it's really not. It's the same thing hashed over and over, but they've got to put up a video, They've grown accustomed to the advertising dollars and everything else, and they're trying to build their audience, just like all of us. So just be aware, anything that's media, including us, of course, we're, I don't know, maybe a little different. We don't rely on drama. We just, bring you firearms, and the firearms are the stars. But, it's just a weird world that everybody, think about news. I mean, that's what I guess I'm trying to get at is, if we're not careful, we can fall into the thinking that anything we see on a video or in a news program is really important, or they wouldn't be talking about it, right? Because it used to be kind of that way. You know, when you had 30 minutes a day, everything's down to 30 minutes. Well, maybe most of what they're talking about is something semi-important, you know. What's going on in the Middle East, you know, quick segment, what's going on here in the economy or whatever, you bounce it around. You said 30 minutes plus commercials, you know, in there. But now, wow, everything's got to be made to seem important. And it's up to us to be critical thinkers and see through a lot of that, you know, as to whether or not it is important, okay? Because, you know, the show must go on. A lot of shows go on every hour, every day, right? In this massive world of media that we have now. So it's a good thing, but we get a lot of information, don't we? And we have a lot of people trying to make things maybe more important than they are. Just be aware of that, young people especially. All of us have to remember that. So it's a strange world out there. Pay attention to the vocabulary. It can be very telling. All right. Now, you notice I haven't shot a bowling pin with bird shot. Y'all know you don't do that. It can be dangerous because it will bounce. Bowling pins are tough. Oh, my target's back. Blow that center out. Yeah, I just knew that was empty. All right, it works. Just like my old high standard I had. Yeah, it's funny, when I bought that high standard in 73, I guess, I couldn't have told you, you know, the difference between a high standard shotgun and a Winchester, Remington. For all I knew, they were all equal probably in terms of who made what and everything. I didn't realize that would be a short-lived kind of thing, having a Riot gun, 18-inch Riot gun. That is pretty neat, you know. It's actually called a Riot shotgun. So it's funny. It's called that. But you know, these are if you don't have a shotgun, since I don't really hunt, you know, it's not that I'm a terrorist or anything, but these are just great defensive firearms. If you are having trouble finding a firearm, in fact, what was it I saw? I was in a gun shop over at Ashland City, Tennessee, where I pick up my guns, and I appreciate their help at Ashland City Armory. They check in my firearms. They had it was a Maverick. It was kind of this configuration, you know, size, you know, short barrel, and a Mossberg. Yeah, Mossberg makes the Maverick, right? And I forgot what the price was, but it was, you know, they're just cheap. Even in today's world, we're in a firearms and ammo apocalypse, you know. It was, what was that thing, $250? I don't know. I picked it up the other day and looked at it because I wasn't sure what it was, so I picked it up. And I thought, you know, if for people who just do not have a firearm and are desperate to have a firearm, you know, for $200-300 or $400 maybe, I mean, you can get an old shotgun like this or a new one with the right brand, you know, and everything. And there is hardly anything more effective. What word should I use? These things there's an artillery piece. I mean, to tell you, if I had to go to battle tomorrow, you can do worse than a shotgun. It's just a very versatile firearm. And it's pretty handy. The short barrel, not all that heavy. Even this one, it's all steel. But they are howitzers. They really are, and they're a lot of fun to shoot too. Of course, you have to have ammo. I haven't looked lately. Somebody was telling me the other day that even shotgun shells are getting hard to find. So let's shoot slugs again, can I? Yeah, it's really neat. It's really neat to have this back. It's like I'm reliving my childhood. You know, those guns I let get away. It has been kind of a project for a few years just to, you know, keep an eye out for certain firearms and redeem myself for the sins I committed in the probably mostly the mid to later 1970s. letting some of those early firearms slip through my fingers. You know, you just don't realize at the time sometimes how you're going to regret, you know, letting something get away. All right. Well, we got a slug in, so we might have to put another one on the gong. Let's see if I can hit the coffin with one of these. All right. It's like a rifle. I'm going to try the red plate on the left. Yeah. Man, I done good. Now we can shoot a bowling pin. Saw the sawdust fly. I'm going to go back over there and put the last one on the gong. All right, got me another rifle, don't I? Another rifle. That's pretty. I guess you could see that on camera. That corn cob forend. I mean, there's just always something cool about that. I'll show you the word Riot. You might not believe me. Some of you think I'm joking because I'm always joking about things or being sarcastic, if you can read how the focus is. But it says Riot on that shotgun barrel. And it is a Riot. That's pretty neat. A riot gun. A riot gun. So that would be appropriate to take to a riot, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe they mean it's good for causing a riot. So I guess it was maybe targeted as a police shotgun market, primarily, perhaps. I'll take my extender off. You can see he's got the old school, you know, kind of hard rubber. It's probably dried out over the years on the stock there. So again, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have a little extra padding, but I got the extender is really what I'm going for there. So good old shotgun. It's hard to beat a shotgun. Nothing crazy. I could have brought out a cool AR-15 or something. I've been shooting a bunch of ARs this week, and I thought, I need to shoot this right now and try it out. So anything else? All right. Let's see. Do I have any advice for young people? I think I wrote something out. I made a note, not to quote Roosevelt necessarily, but you young folks, just make sure that you are in the arena doing something, okay, and not just being a critic of the people in the arena. You know what that means. They're doing something. People out there doing something. There are just so many people who are couch potatoes these days and really don't do anything except criticize other people who are trying to do something. And there's nothing wrong if you want to be a couch potato and you know, you just kind of get by. Well, have at it. Like I say earlier, you know, whatever life you want to live, as long as you're not bothering me, you know, expecting me to feed you or something, just be a lazy bum. I don't care. Just you know, just you reap what you sow. You know that. So you whatever you do, but you know, delivery of some kind, no ammo, I guess. Wrong color truck. Right? But anyway, don't just sit around and criticize people and look for reasons to hate people or pick them apart. They're actually doing something. You know, that's my advice. It's okay not to participate in whatever it is, whether it's sports, or you're in high school, or whatever. You just don't want to do it. You know, you'd rather not do that. That's fine. But don't resent people who are. It would be my advice. You know, the thing is, there's such a big market for being a critic, you know, these days with all the media we have. A lot of people make a good living criticizing, well, sports players, for example, professional athletes or college or whatever, just talking about them. and it's always been that way as far as the critics. But analyzing players and what they do, and that's just an analogy I use. It's the same with anything, where anybody's doing anything. It's just you got those two big worlds, and not necessarily anything wrong with either one of those worlds. We got a world where people are doing stuff, and you got people over here who are talking about those people who are doing stuff. And those people who are talking about it are trying to draw attention and get clicks and make money from talking about those people over there doing stuff. Just like in the tabloids, with actors and actresses or famous people in Hollywood or whatever. That's why those things sell so well. Those people make a lot of money just writing about famous people, about actors and actresses, making up stuff, or making it dramatic, of course, and colorful and whatever. Half of it not true, and you get that in every arena aspect of life. John and I have seen that just in what we're doing. But it's just going to be there, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's in blogs, whether it's on TV. There's just a lot of people who just get by being a critic of other people, and that in and of itself often it is a profession, or it's it's an endeavor, a career for some people, I guess, and it's not necessarily a horrible route to take. It's just that often especially in these days, because of the need to have filler content every day, every hour, it can become even more dramatic and more desperate, to take the contrarian view in order to get attention. So that's the thing. We've always kind of accused the media of doing that sort of thing. It used to be the media was a whole lot smaller. Now the media, I guess that's kind of my point today, that now the media is like everybody, almost everybody plays a role, with our the social media, or phones, and all the sites, and just everything that's going on. So everybody's doing something, and everybody's critiquing, and it's a really crazy world if you haven't noticed that, right? So I'm glad I live in both. I do. I have a foot in both worlds, and I enjoy doing this, but I kind of shut it off. I really am glad, and I don't mean to criticize people who do that. There's so many people who are trying to make a career out of, like, Instagram or Twitter, I don't know, whatever, and just posting like every hour, and constantly looking for something interesting to post, and it's cool that so many people can do that and actually make some money and make a career out of it, or at least make a nice sideline out of it. It's really cool. I mean, we've done that. It's just as far as all these places and posting and trying to create personas, and I think it's just, wow, it would wear me out. It would wear me out. I have a hard enough time just being myself, but I do have a foot in it, right? Obviously, it's why I'm here talking to you on camera, showing up on social media, on your computer screen, on YouTube, right? But I, 2 or 3 times a week, and enjoy it, and play with some interesting firearms, yak at you about a couple of non-essential issues on Sundays, and then, I'm kind of back to my regular life out here, working on the tractor, and shooting, just doing normal stuff. So I prefer it my way. I like living kind of the old way and the new way. And when I get too much of it, too much of one or the other, I can go the other side. So it's kind of an interesting life. One last thing I'll talk about, I'm getting too long-winded, is I wasn't sure whether I would do it or not, but I did. I got the vaccine, and I got the not because I'm special. Am I special? No. I just got the call from Vandy. My doctor works through Vanderbilt, and I'm in their system. Just like if you're in Memphis, you're through another system, probably better wherever you live. But I was surprised. I got an email and said I was on the list to schedule, because of, I guess, my age or my ignorance or whatever it was. But And my wife hadn't gotten it yet. It's kind of funny. She worked at Vanderbilt for like 40 years, and she's a little older than I am. But she'll get it soon, I would guess, the notification. So I went and got the first round, and I thought long and hard about it, and studied it, and for one thing, I'm tired of wearing a mask, and people over there creeping around. And so now what is very interesting, I found very interesting, is that even if you've been vaccinated, and you really pose little, if any, threat to anybody, they still want you to wear a mask. I think good luck with that, right? As we move forward and more people have had it, they've been vaccinated, there's going to be a lot of people who are just tired of being sheep. That's pretty much, I think, the way it's gone. So if you see me without a mask, just know I am no threat to you, okay? Whether or not you know that I have been vaccinated, I couldn't care less whether you know that or not. You're going to ask me, that's fine. But anyway, I think that's just really, it's just a new chapter in this bizarre world. It's a new bizarre chapter in this world we're living in now, this new twilight zone, that doctors are actually coming out and saying with a straight face that even after you've been vaccinated, you need to wear a mask, So what a world we're living in. But anyway, I went ahead and did it, and I don't know. I don't get flu shots, and I never get the flu and all that kind of thing. But I'm around a lot of people, and part of, I have a very old mother-in-law and all that kind of thing, different things, and I'm shaking your all's hands a lot, and I've never quit doing that really. I just, eventually here this spring, going to get back out, and I know the NRA meeting now is scheduled for September, but I go into a gun shop somewhere, and there may be 4 or 5 or 6 people, that end up talking to, maybe shaking hands and everything. So I don't know. So I don't want to have to limit contact for one thing, and even thinking about myself, but also other people, even you all. Well, who else would be, But in terms of giving something to, I don't know. It's a weird thing. Decision everybody has to make. Anyway, I went and did it, and so hopefully we will be over this soon enough. And I know for most of you, it's probably not even a big decision at all. You're just dying to get it, maybe. So I just typically don't get things, and never get a flu shot. Like I say, I don't get the flu, and I have really lived really normally the last year. I mean, really normally. I've shaken a lot of your all's hands, and I talk to you and run into you, and I don't know. I just feel like my system will ward it off pretty well, and that masks are almost useless anyway. The bottom line, anybody that's been in the medical world knows that. So anyway, enough on that. But yeah, so I'm vaccinated, and if I wanted to warn you too, because I don't know, I just did it a couple, 3 days ago. I could start turning into a zombie. I've seen that happen before. I've seen those movies, those documentaries where that happens. And so I just wanted to warn you, in case this is the last time I'm able to actually look at you, have real eyes, and I'm able to speak, because that's one of the symptoms, I think. When you become a zombie, you don't really do much talking. You just make some weird sounds. So if next week I'm just sort of grunting at you, you'll know what's happening, okay? And it's another reason I wanted to let you know, so you can kind of keep an eye on me, because that turn might be gradual, and if you start seeing symptoms, you can notify the authorities or John, let him know to start keeping an eye on me, okay? So anyway, I'm happy with my shotgun. That'd be the worst part about being a zombie. I've never seen zombies, able to manage a shotgun or a handgun, and so That'd be no fun. That'd be no fun at all. To be a walking dead person and not be able to enjoy some of the fine firearms that are out there, even if it's a high standard, right? So anyway, I'm gonna let you go. I'm ready for any eventuality, especially any riots that occur. Okay, so I'll talk to y'all later. Hopefully next week. It's gonna be really cold next week, I understand, but I'll probably talk to you anyway because I ain't too smart. Life is good.